Oh. Oh. Okay. All right, folks. Well, welcome back to our film lecture series. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. We've had a lot of classes this week. We're jam-packing a lot in for you during this midterm season. And I know it's a lot of material, guys, but you know, I have to try to teach you this stuff as fast as I can. You know, before you have to take your midterms and final tests and quizzes and all that. So, whew, boy, what a hectic morning. So Friday morning, I got here at 7 o'clock. The school, very busy. A lot of events going on. We have a manufacturing career fair thing going on towards the other classroom that I used to be in here on campus. And then the other classroom on the other side of campus that I was also signed up to use, the microphone didn't work, you know, and so I thought, why not take a risk and try to find another classroom with a microphone that does work. And speaking of which, anyway, I did not find a classroom with a microphone, and I wasn't even going to bring. I'll bring it up though. It's funny. I was here at the community college, and just about 20 minutes ago, I was one of the students who was walking around, and because I'm walking around looking for a classroom like this, with kind of like a chicken with his head cut off. He's asking, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you here for? And I just thought, I don't know. Why am I here? Why would I be here? Let alone if I was a student, right? It's like, why else would I be here? I'm a student, silly boy. Okay. Anyway, just wanted to rant with you guys. I know you guys love me, and I love you. So here we go. Oh, we got a new script, guys. We got a new script, and this one is very, very good. This is one of the best scripts that you will be taught as an example in this entire class series. In this entire series, this will be one of the best ones. Okay? Me and my team had worked very tirelessly to make this one. Now this is called Night Index. Okay? Night Index. Now, it starts with an exit to Park Place, Portland, Oregon. So this one takes place, I don't even know if we're going to be able to get through all of the scenes because there's so much involved with this script. This is definitely one of the deeper, more, subliminally, healing, spiritual residue, okay? This is one of the best examples of that spiritual residue. This is a movie that's going to linger. Truly, it's going to linger and resonate with those who watch it. And so I'm very, very passionate about this one. This one's very, very, very important. And so I'm going to go ahead and what I'm probably going to do is just read one or two scenes, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull some of the notes I made, and kind of just give you a walnut, of the whole, picture of what the picture is going to be fixating, whatever. I'm making up words. It's Friday, guys. I'm exhausted. And I know you guys are too. Everybody has to wake up early. We have to get to class. We have to dress pretty. I get it. Graham. Graham Smith is a realist. I know, right? I get it. I really get it. You know, I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning, and I had to run to the bus, you know, to get ready, comb my hair, you know, wipe my butt, wipe the stuff off my eyes, and get to class. So I get it, guys. You're getting the best of me at my lowest capacity today. So, here we go. We're just going to start with the first couple scenes, and then I'm going to jump right into my spiel about, like I said, the whole walnut of the film and the that photogenic mind of yours. I'm hoping will keep the visuals from the language and from the description that I'm going to give you. All right, here we go. So this film is called Night Index. Night Index. This is Park Place, Portland, Oregon. Now this is a real building. This is a real place. This is very much a real place. In fact, let me go up here so you can see me. You can't see me over there. All right. A wide static frame Park Place stretches beneath a low Oregon sky. Built in 1981, a long brick structure, modest and institutional, its symmetry still intact. Okay? The roadside sign reads Park Place ever since 1981. The paint is faded. The parking lot is fractured with weeds. This place is trash. This place has been abandoned for 40 years. 40 years this building's just been sitting there. Okay? And so the weeds are pushing through the asphalt seams, and there's an empty flagpole near the entrance. On one exterior floodlight hums and flickers faintly, but never fails. Never fails. Kind of illuminating the structure. Okay? And the wind is brushing softly against the building. Right? Okay, there's no music, only a little bit of distant traffic sound and some buzzing of the lights, electrical buzzes, power grids and such. Very plain Jane, but we're introduced to a very institutionalized looking type building. And so into the Park Place, the lobby. Now this building, I guess I can go ahead and tell you now. This building is a real place. This is a real building in Portland, Oregon, built in 1981, and it is a retirement center. Okay? So here we go. We're jumping right into the film, and we are here in an abandoned retirement center. Right? That's very strange. That's a strange way to start a movie. But as always, you will see where it leads. So here we are into Park Place, the lobby. It's nighttime, of course, outside, as I described all the scenery earlier. And the glass door is open with this hydraulic sigh, and we then are introduced to our first. We have our first introduction of our two main characters, basically. At least the main characters in this tangible reality that we can see. So there you go. There's some FS for you. Yes, there's very much going to be layers to this script, and that's why it's so effective. So Dennis and Mark enter in modern security uniforms. Flashlights click on, click, and the dust is the dust is floating. It's visible in the beams. Here, let me see if I have a. Here we go. Like this. Flashlights beaming, beam. Okay, these are security guards, guys. They are there obviously to watch this abandoned building, make sure people don't trespass, make sure that the building integrity is still intact, to make sure that there's no intruders, no raccoons getting in the back of the trash can, you know, the typical perimeter check that a security guard has to do. I used to be a security guard, so I can tell you this is how it is. Anyhow, now they're in the lobby, and the reception desk is still intact. Okay, it's old, about 40 years old. It's still intact, and the wood paneling is dated, but it's solid. It's solid, and so it's very obviously a receptionist desk. I mean, even like right here, this is great. My little podium here. Could symbolize the reception desk, right? So it's like this, and you know, almost as if you would see a ghost sitting behind it that once served the community there. Again, remember, retirement center. So there's already a hint of as an audience, but just as an observer, maybe you were thinking, ooh, haunted, ghosts, spider webs, creepy crawlers, you know, abandoned buildings, just kind of disembodied spirits maybe. You know, it's set up that way. Okay, and so behind this desk, there's this brass plaque, that, you know, and it says Park Place. Park Place, serving Portland seniors since 1981. Mark wipes a streak through the dust with his thumb. And it's quiet, right? And Mark looks at it and says, 1981. And Dennis, who is our main character, Mark, I guess Mark isn't so much a main character, but he's definitely important. So Dennis, forgive me for making that error. Dennis is the main character. But anyway, Mark is very much important too. So Dennis says, yeah. And so, you know, these are security guards. They're having small talk. You know, they're kind of bored. It's late at night. It's a very mundane job to be a security guard, believe me. And so then, you know, then the camera will pan and it'll show a corkboard that displays some faded flyers from the 80s. You know, Bingo Tuesdays, Sunday service, blood pressure clinic. You know, all of the things that old folks very much have as essential events when it comes to getting older. And when you're in a facility like that, right? They have all these events that are there. Okay, so there's a dead potted plant that rests, you know, stiff in the corner. This place is as empty as a graveyard. So like I was saying earlier, it's kind of this weird, haunted, ooh, spooky, spooky. And, you know, Mark kind of says, it's crazy how fast places empty out. And I'll try to get his way. You know, it's crazy how fast these places empty out. And Dennis says, it doesn't feel empty. See, Dennis is already kind of that different, you know, perspective. Right off the bat, you can see, you know, you can at least see hints of the psychological perspectives that Mark has and the psychological perspectives that Dennis has. In short, I guess what I'm saying is Dennis has more life experience, and so he has a bigger perspective, whereas Mark is just kind of, you know, probably adjacent to his routines, goes home, drinks beer, watches sports. And so does Dennis. But Dennis just has, you know, just a little more awareness, situational. Anyway, so that's what's going on with this dialogue. And Mark jumps in, he says, well, feels like someone just stepped out. And he says, I'll take the south wing, you get the north, right? And so here they go, they're going on their perimeter check. They're going on the perimeter check. And so Dennis says, all right. And so they split, right? And they go two different directions. Two different directions. Into the north corridor night present. Okay? It shows a locked off shot of a long hallway. And Dennis is walking away from the camera, right? Walking away from the camera. And you know, some of the background things, we have the carpet. Carpet is darkened by age, you know, it's black and moldy, and the wallpaper is all, you know, the seams are peeling, and it's just, it's a rough place, you know. It's been abandoned for, you know, 30-something, 40-something years. Or maybe even 10 years. I don't know, it doesn't matter. It's just been abandoned for a long time, and the place is just falling apart. And so there's a wheelchair tipped gently against the wall as he's walking. Crooked frame, lighthouse print, you know, picture of a lighthouse. It's all bent and crooked. Ventilation hum is screwing up, you know. Your average ventilation is kind of just like this, right? Well, he's walking through and it's like, you know, the place is a mess. Dennis turns the corner, and the hum smooths, right? And the fluorescent lights flicker beyond the bend, right? Because he's going down a corridor. And beyond the bend, and then the lights stabilize. And the color, all of a sudden, of the temperature warms up suddenly. You know, coming from the lights, but also just kind of the whole room just kind of warms up, which is interesting. And so Dennis kind of steps back into view and he lowers his flashlight. And the hallway, as he's kind of, you know, looking, the hallway is clean all of a sudden. Right? Strange. Hallway's clean. And then he looks at the carpet. The carpet is patterned in this muted blue. Blue and green color, but it's clean, and it's just perfectly, almost as if it had been restored, right? And so he just keeps walking, kind of unsure what to think. As he looks back, all of a sudden, from where he was just came from, there's no more wheelchair on the wall. There's no more lighthouse picture. Crooked, it's now straight, interestingly enough. And from down the hall, he hears muted conversations. He's hearing people talking now. And an abandoned building late at night, yeah, that's creepy. He's hearing people, and then he starts hearing laughing. He's hearing laughing. So he's starting to get a little freaked out, but he's not. He's got this weird sensation in him. That it's like this strange euphoria that he can't explain. So he's not necessarily scared, but he's certainly in awe. He's certainly in awe. He's not sure what to make of what's going on. And so he stands still, listening, and he's walking forward, and he goes, continues forward into the north hallway. And as he's going in, the doors that he has to go through, right? They open all of a sudden. And everything around him is clean, the doors open. And inside one of the rooms of the doors that he opens, there's an elderly woman folding laundry carefully. And he looks outside the window of the room that she's in, and it's daytime all of a sudden. And so he's not sure what to think. All of a sudden it's daytime. Here's this old woman who looks like she belongs in the retirement center even though it's been closed for 20-something years. Whoa! And as he keeps going, so he pops his head out of there, and then he goes into another room. There's an AM radio report reporting that Portland has a rainfall. It's like a weather report. And so he just happens to see a nurse pushing this medication cart, white uniform, hair pinned back, metal wheels are squeaking. Very much an old school nurse outfit. Because this is early, well, it's early 80s aesthetic is what's going on. And so he kind of just walks beside her and he says, excuse me, miss, what year is it? What year is it? Right? And the nurse glances at him, amused, right? Kind of annoyed too. She says, 1982, honey. Quit yanking my chain, right? She continues walking and the cart squeaks rhythmically away, and Dennis just remains there, standing. He's dumbstruck, because what has just happened is Dennis somehow had, for lack of better words, time traveled. He's in this abandoned building and has went through this one hallway. 1 minute he's with his security coworker, and now he's back in daytime, 1982. Okay? 1982, which is amazing. And so, he looks down at the carpet, he's touching the wall, he's making sure things are real at this point. He's like, boy, someone slipped me a Mickey, or I don't know, something happened though. Something not so good. But again, he's not scared, he's just he's got this overwhelming, calm, controlled feeling. Almost like a warm embrace that is invisible, right? And so he's not scared, but he's very confused, and he's not sure what the hell is going on. But he's not scared. But he's also making sure that he's not nuts, right? And so, further down the hall, there's another open doorway, and then now we're introduced to another character, and this guy's name is Christian. And as he walks in, there's a bed made tightly with hospital corners and a window showing light sliding down glass. Side table with shaving mug and comb. A folded American flag rests in the triangular display case, brass plate beneath it. So, we can already tell with just that much information that he just walked into the room of what appears to be a veteran. Right, a war veteran. And, in the brass plate, of course, it says, "Si Abide, U.S. Army." And now we're introduced to Christian. And he sits upright in his wooden chair. He's thin, alert, clear eyes, frail old man, right? And he studies Dennis calmly as he walks in. And he just kind of says, "Well, you appear misplaced." Dennis says, I might be, right? Again, see, Dennis is calm and collected, even though almost like he's so grateful that he had this extraordinary experience that he just wants to take it all in. And again, there's a higher spiritual force that's keeping him engaged and unafraid. Very good stuff. Very well written. So Christian, says, "Well, reckoned as much. A man ought to know the sound of his own footsteps." And so Dennis, just in the moment, he's like, "You served?" Christian says, "Aye, 1917. France. Cold as the devil's pantry." A faint breath through his nose as he says that. Okay, 1917. Whoa. He then continues, we fancied ourselves brave. Most of us were green as spring wheat. And Dennis says, well, did it change you? And I think we'll just read one more line, and then we'll have to come back to this. But then Christian replies, war changes any man with a pulse. War changes any man with a pulse. And so, I mean, folks, this is really incredible. So we have a man, you know, in the modern day who is just your average Joe security guard who somehow travels back in time to a more innocent time, too, specifically 1982, and he's in this retirement center, and one of the first people he meets is a war veteran from World War I. And what's going to happen is, you know, this veteran's going to give Dennis some more perspective, but wisdom. This is like being, you know, imagine going back and talking to Plato, or going back in time and talking to even like Carl Jung, right? And so an elder giving wisdom to a younger person. Definitely a fantasy of mine. Definitely a fantasy of mine. So, now let's go back to this part now. Let me double check the time too, folks. Make sure we're good on time.